Last week, one of you guys left me a comment asking to make a video about why I decided to leave Moscow and move to Siberia and whether it had anything to do with minimalism. And so here I am making this video about me escaping the big city in search of my real minimalist self. First of all, thank you, Lilian, for asking this question, and all of you who are watching this video for taking interest in my small channel. If you're new here, hey, my name is Anna, and as you might guess, I'm currently living in Siberia, in the southwest part of it. This is my hometown named Kemerovo. This is the hospital where I was born. This is the university that helped me figure out my profession. So I liked my city, but thought it was too small for me. And at the age of 25, I moved to Moscow. I think I got pretty lucky to get immediately hired by one of the biggest international marketing research company as an analyst and translator. So I spent 7 years there. I had a pretty good income, excellent medical insurance. I was enjoying pretty exciting personal life, was going to all sorts of exhibitions, shows, concert, was into that, entered those artistic circles, kind of had a lot of creative activities. I enjoyed and I loved the history, the architecture, the mess and the fuss of the biggest city in Russia. But then everything changed. Big cities have a power of altering people, of ruthlessly testing them with things that they've never imagined. I thought I was doing great, but then I began to feel more and more pressure to be something and someone more, to achieve more, to own more. After all, my colleagues and friends were buying cars, getting mortgage loans, getting married, having kids, and I was always renting apartments. I didn't and I still don't know how to drive, and I got divorced. So I began to question everything that I had, everything that I own, asking myself how all that made me feel happy and complete. The city insisted on growing wider and wider, but what I really wanted was to get deeper and to grow deeper. People longed to be promoted to higher positions and higher salaries. I couldn't see myself anywhere there. Looking back, I can still hear someone else's voice in my head saying, you could earn more, get a more comfortable life, avoid all the troubles you faced after you left Moscow. But I know that this voice is not right, because all those troubles brought me back to myself. In a big city, you always try to be, or at least seem, something more knowledgeable, more experienced, more sophisticated, more successful, and in my case, also more Moscowy. You might not know, but Russia can be roughly divided into two parts: the so-called center, which is Moscow and St Petersburg, and the regions, which is everything else. So there is, or at least there has been, a drastic difference in attitudes when someone originally came from Moscow and St Petersburg and when they came from the regions. My Moscow-born ex would introduce me as a sort of an exotic thing, declaring that I was from Siberia. And I was embarrassed as hell, and now I've finally embraced my roots. But of course, I'm not blaming or judging people for having these divisive opinions, because everyone has their own right to have a certain viewpoint or mindset. So I didn't fit Moscow, but many people did, and I'm genuinely glad that they found a real and very proper place in life and to live in. But there is a but. Big cities can often replace a part of your identity, and you become not just your own self, but a Muscovite, a New Yorker, a Sydneysider, or a Hong Konger. Maybe there is nothing bad about it, but the more I live on this planet, the more I realize that borders mean nothing. A Russian and an American can have surprisingly much in common. All people on Earth have similar fears and happy moments. We humans are basically the same, and all big problems begin when we think we are different. And this is where I began to have an issue of me being digested by the big city of Moscow. I hope it's okay. I'm not sharing any photos from my Moscow period because I still don't feel comfortable even looking at them, as there was a lot of emotional discomfort and dubious attitudes involved. But the most positive thing that happened to me there was getting to know my faithful companion, Ulysses, an adopted stray cat from the indifferent Moscow streets. After my first marriage was ruined, after my second very complicated and toxic relationship was dead, after I went through a series of amazing but very painful spiritual experiences alone, but surrounded by millions of different people, I decided I need a break and I need some cozy me time in a safe environment. And I got back to the city where I was born, where my parents and my Sisa, my beloved cousin, lived. I spent there 1.5 years before moving for 2 years to another country, the Republic of Georgia. But it's a whole different story. Now it's been almost 4 years since I'm back to Siberia again after the Republic of Georgia. And initially it was out of pure necessity to save money and to figure out the way my partner and I could be together. But now it's crazy how clearly I see that everything was for one and the same reason: to get back to my real self and to do what needed to be done. You see, minimalism is not just about owning less stuff, it's about being content with what you have, with who you are in terms of social status, etc. Big cities feed ambitions, ego, and all kinds of consumerism. So let me know in the comments if you agree with this. And only here in my frosty Siberian home city, I got to finally realize what matters to me and what doesn't. It's minimalism, it's mindfulness, it's authenticity, it's the love of life that you are given, and not the one that is advertised or promoted by the society. Now I earn much less than I used to 10 years ago. Together with regular inflation, it's ridiculous. But I've learned how to be happy, how at least to try to cherish every good moment, because I know now how much worse it can get. Even a year ago, I would blame the world for not being able to be with my partner, who I haven't seen for 2 years by now. But now, at the moment, I'm happy how things turned out, because the circumstances that I thought were so misfortunate gave me a chance to spend these last years with my father, who passed away unexpectedly. Being a minimalist, you tend to listen to yourself, not the crowd, and that's why I love it. The crowd, the society, the nation won't reveal you the secret of being sane and happy. It's the smaller environments, less stuff, less clutter, and more space inside of you. That's why I quit bigger cities for living in Siberia again, for now. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end. Feel free to drop me a line about anything, because I always read and answer all your comments. And if you like this video, check out more stuff about minimalism on my channel. Sending love from Siberia, and you have a lovely day. And пока-пока.